Let's take a step back, shall we? So why we need to memorize everything? Our phone is so convenient that we can just refer to any note saved online or on the cloud. And if we don't remember, we can just Google and find the answer in just a few seconds. So what we need to memorize more? In a recent conversation with a friend, I am being asked, how many books have I read in 2023? I answered proudly, must be around 100. My friend followed up and asked, why do you read so many books? Can you really learn from them? Could you name 100 things that you've learned from the 100 books that you've read? I was stunned because I couldn't name more than 10 things that I remember from the 100 books that I have read. Here, I would like to challenge you. If you have read a book recently, could you name 3 things that you remember and learn from the book? If you haven't read any books recently, could you name 3 contents that you've seen on social media yesterday? The thing is, we can barely remember 3% of what we've seen. That's quite pathetic and wasteful, because if we can't remember, we can't apply that. There will be no change in our life, even if we read 1,000 books, or watched 1,000 educational videos, or listened to 1,000 podcasts. Because it's not in our brain, we can't execute it. We won't even remember that. Time wasted. Nothing really learned, nothing remembered. No change in life. That's what I called fake, or self-deceiving productivity. We may think that we have done a lot, we have hustled, we have learned a lot, but in fact, we learned nothing, or close to nothing learning, because we can't remember, we can't use it. That brings us to the question of, how can we memorize more? Or how can we memorize the majority of, or everything that we have learned? So that, here's the purpose of memorizing. We can actually apply what we've learned to change our life for the better. 1, don't be greedy. When we read a book of 300 pages or so, we can't remember even a page of it. But if we read a page, or just a paragraph, we are much more likely to remember it. By intentionally and significantly reduce the amount of information that we input, we would be able to memorize more. And in fact, it is even more effective and efficient because we saved 97% of the time needed to read the rest of the book, which we won't remember anyway. Eat only what we can digest so that our digestive system works better and is healthier. Similarly, for learning, less is more. It's really more about the application and implementation that's going to have any impact or change in our life, not the knowledge that we put into our brain. It's important to keep in mind that the whole purpose and goal of learning is so that we can absorb, memorize what we've learned, so that we are able to apply it and take action on it. 2, self-explanation. A conclusion I reached after joining over 1,000 meetings. I don't remember what others have said, but I remember what I have said. Strange, but it makes sense. We human beings tend to pay much more attention to ourselves than we pay attention to others. In the scenario of a group photo, who would you look at first? Yourself, right? The same principle applies. We pay much more attention to ourselves, and before we actually speak or express ourselves, the idea or the sentences have to be formed in our brain first, which is the first layer of processing, and then we speak. We can listen to our own voice at the same time, or write. We see our own words at the same time, which is the second layer of processing, and this time engaging multiple sensors as well, which helps to enhance memory. So how can we remember more? Easy. We just need to explain to ourselves as if we are in meetings, conferences, or sharing. When we explain something back to ourselves, we are testing our understanding. To be able to express an idea or a concept in our own words, there are at least 2 levels of processing there, and we are engaging multiple sensors at the same time. So our memory would be reinforced and much stronger than when we are just listening to what others are saying or what others write. With these 2 very simple, very practically applicable methods, you can remember at least 100% more of what you learn, and you can save 97% of the time. The results would be nothing short of life-changing and magical.